All right, so this marks another podcast. It is September 29th, 2016. I am joined again with my good friend Stephen Long from UMass and from my other good friend who is downstairs in my house, Arthur Ryan from Sacred Heart. To open up our podcast today on a more serious note, Marlins starting pitcher Jose Fernandez, who is just 24 years old and a sensation in the MLB, has just passed away in a boating accident on the 25th. Very unfortunate to hear. Very promising future. Was the NL Rookie of the Year back in 2013 and was a two-time All-Star in 2013 and this year before unfortunately passing away. So there's that. The day after he passed away, they ended up playing the Mets in Miami. My apologies. And everyone on the Miami Marlins roster wore the number 16 in Jose Fernandez's honor. Arthur, you and I were watching that game downstairs, and the first at-bat for Miami was D. Gordon. He led off the game in the bottom half of the first. And his first at-bat, he stood in as a righty. The first pitch, right? The first pitch, he stood in righty to commemorate and recognize Jose Fernandez.
He mimicked his batting stance too. It was really cool.
And quote me if I'm wrong, but he wore Fernandez's batting helmet.
I believe so.
And then for the second pitch, he switched from the right-handed side to the left-handed side, his normal hitting stance, the side he bats from, and absolutely smashed the ball into right field, upper decker. And he even said it himself after the game. It was probably the furthest ball he's ever hit. So,
which is ridiculous. How do you not hit farther in batting practice?
Yeah, for his whole entire career, and just to do something like that, remarkable, unbelievable. Yeah, it was
all over.
Mm-hmm. He was crying when he got back to the dugout. The whole entire Marlins team was. It was really, really hard to watch. I could say as a Mets fan, I've never been happier to see the Mets let up a home run in a time like that.
Lose a game.
Yeah. Miami. The Mets lost that game. Bartolo got the loss, had 5 earned runs. But just overall, it was great for Miami just to get that win. Everyone number 16. So that was a great start for them. Moving on to a more lightning topic, but it's still a major concern in the basketball world. To date is, September 29th, 2016, and J.R. Smith
still a free agent. Tough to imagine, huh?
You know what?
One more day in September.
I didn't think we would get here, and you know what? The month is closing out. This guy was expected to sign back with Cleveland, and just nothing yet. Just the dude wants to get paid.
Team Swish.
Team Swish. Team Pipe.
I'm on Team Swish.
I'm on.
Team disappears in the playoffs.
How did
Finals. He didn't do anything in the finals.
JR is very cold in the
finals.
finals.
How did Cavs think they're going to beat Golden State without JR?
You know what? If Cleveland,
with Kyrie Irving and LeBron James, but they won't.
But the X factor besides Richard Jefferson has to be J.R. Smith.
Yeah. Richard Jefferson's not going to have another year like that. His body will spontaneously combust and he will die on the court.
Probably. He's getting there. He said he was going to retire, but just he wanted to get paid. That's a hot take. That is a hot take right there.
Jefferson's going to die on the floor.
Before we go into the next segment, one key loss that everyone is not talking about for the Cavaliers is they lost their star center in Timofey Mozgov.
What?
LA Lakers. He got paid.
He went to the Lakers, right?
He got paid. Timofey Mozgov.
Reminded me a lot of Ilgauskas.
Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
Remember that duo?
Nice. That's way back. That's some NBA Live 05 stuff right there.
NBA Live 05.
Steve and I used to go at that game, dude. Tracy McGrady would just...
T-Mac?
Ugh.
I
Oof.
think someone has NBA Live on their Xbox, like, ready to install. Like, one of the new ones.
Right after this podcast, I think that's the move. Hopefully one of the earlier years. Vintage J.R. Smith, and of course, vintage Timofey Mozgov. The next segment to talk about on the podcast is the World Cup of Hockey. Excuse me. Canada is currently leading Europe in the series, 1-0. However, Game 2 is currently ongoing. Second period, and Europe was up 1-0 last time we checked before podcasting.
Europe is flying tonight. For the series to get tied up.
Is Europe its own team, or it's like
for the World Cup? The World Cup has they have a team in North America, which is like everyone that's like 23 and under from Canada and the U.S. and that team was really, really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
They're really fun to watch. And then Team Europe is like all old people from Europe, like teams that Chara's team isn't I think he's from Slovakia. Like they're not in the World Cup, so he plays on Team Europe.
So he just plays for Europe.
From I don't even know where the hell he's.
Yeah.
But they're good. They have Yaroslav Halak. They got a plethora of Islanders goaltenders.
But who's the backup though? The backup for the starting Halak, who is the Islanders starting goalie, is Thomas Greiss, who is the Islanders backup goalie. Which, in a sense, means that the Islanders are better than the Bruins because Tuukka's not in the championship. Hot take? Hot take?
I would say the Islanders are certainly better than the Bruins.
I mean, goaltender-wise, Tuukka Rask, he's not bringing...
I just fell out of my chair. That take was so hard.
Tuukka Rask is, he's not in the championship. Just, not elite.
Brand new Islander, Dennis Seidenberg, also stolen from the Bruins, just like Johnny Boychuk.
Very true. Did you see his Islander sticker on the bottom right of his helmet?
I saw that sticker.
He just got signed a day or two ago, and he already has the Islanders team logo on his helmet. This dude has passion.
He bleeds blue
passion.
And orange. He bleeds blue and orange.
Dennis Seidenberg should release an album called Now That's What I Call Passion.
He's got passion. He defines passion and grit.
Can we talk about American hockey, though?
Yeah.
No, Steve, what do you think about the American team?
Pretty booty, not gonna lie. They're not playing good.
Agree with you.
The team was assembled like crap. I'll just be honest.
Yeah, Dean Lombardi, GM did not do a good job at all assembling the team. Left off a lot of talented players like Phil Kessel and Bobby Ryan.
I was gonna say Phil Kessel. Phil Kessel subtweeted them.
Phil the Thrill.
The Heat tweet.
Phil the Thrill.
Phil the Thrill. Phil the Sniper. Left off of Team USA. He was definitely one of the snubs on the roster, and Tortorella couldn't get it done.
Yeah, Tortorella as a coach is not a good call either.
Steven, doesn't that sound familiar?
What is he doing?
Doesn't that sound familiar, Steven? Tortorella just not getting it done?
I like Tortorella on the Rangers. He was good. He was a good fit.
He was coaching not getting it done. Where have I heard that before?
I feel like you're kind of hinting towards all of my coaches. I was kind of going to bring up Rex Ryan. I feel like Torts is kind of like a Rex Ryan kind of guy. He's one of those coaches where if he's your coach, you love him, but if he's against you, you strongly despise the guy.
Okay.
I just feel like Torts is that kind of guy because everyone in the NFL hates Rex Ryan except for if he's your coach. Like when Rex Ryan spent 6 years on the Jets, phenomenal. I loved it, and he had a successful run. He brought Mark Sanchez to the playoffs his first 2 years. And, yeah, Steven, how are your football teams doing?
I don't follow football, so they're doing quite well.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll tell you, my fantasy football team is beating yours, so...
Yeah, currently it's Thursday night. Only 2 teams are playing. I probably have no one playing. So
the Dolphins play tonight?
The Bengals play tonight, and the Bengals are 1-2.
Bengals Dolphins.
Yeah, but playoff.
You know who's doing terrible?
Who?
The Browns.
Always.
The Browns are always bad.
Let me tell you.
Before I go into Josh Gordon, did you hear what Terrell Pryor had to say this whole entire week?
Yeah, he said they could go undefeated.
Before saying that, he said that he was willing to die on the field for his team. The Cleveland Browns. I'm not making this up.
Is Terrell Pryor a rookie?
No, he was the Ohio State quarterback and legend a couple years ago, and then just was a bust, and then decided to turn wide receiver.
Who is willing to die for the Cleveland Browns? That's a hot take.
That's a hot take.
Johnny Manziel is actively doing it.
That's a hot take. Drink for Johnny. On a more serious note, for the Browns, their star wide receiver of the past, Josh Gordon, enters rehab on his own terms. This guy lit up the NFL and my fantasy team 2 years ago, and has been on and off the field due to his...
He also lit up a lot of substances, and that's why he's in rehab right now.
You beat me to it. That's why he's in rehab, but he went on his own terms, though, which is good. Do you guys think... when he makes his return to the NFL, that he will have the same impact that he used to have? Because he was something special.
Is he going to rehab for just weed?
I think so.
That's unreal.
Yeah, but he did it on his own terms, though, because...
yeah.
Which, it's good, because this guy's literally been in and out of being suspended every week. And... going to rehab yourself for marijuana is going to help you and figure it out, then so be it. Like, this guy was a stud. A stud with whoever their quarterback was 2 years ago. I couldn't even tell you who their quarterback was 2 years ago. Hoyer? Like... Colt McCoy? I couldn't even tell you. There's too many of those guys. Hopefully Josh Gordon makes a return.
Rex Grossman. I have no idea.
Football guy, Rex Grossman.
Rex Grossman.
I'm going to toss his word up there. I used it in the first podcast a lot. He's a journeyman, Rex Grossman.
A journeyman, yeah. I remember the term.
Washington Redskin. He backed up RG3 on his rookie year when RG3 collapsed and broke down. We talked about that, us three, on our first podcast. But another tragedy there. Yes. And to close out this podcast, we're going to have to unfortunately talk about New York football. And usually I'm all happiness when talking about the Jets because Ryan Fitzpatrick is elite. Because he's elite. However, the Jets and Ryan Fitzpatrick had 8 turnovers, and Fitzpatrick threw for 6 of them.
How many?
6.
How many?
All right, dude. How's Garoppolo doing? How's Brissett doing? Is Edelman going to be your QB?
They're going to win, and the Patriots are going to go 4-0 without Tom Brady because they're the greatest coached football team in the history of ever.
Belichick.
Speaking of Belichick, I actually read this article this morning and completely forgot this was a thing. Did you guys know that Bill Belichick was the coach of the New York Jets? The head coach of the New York Jets for one day.
One day.
And then he resigned because he didn't know what his position would be within the organization.
Interesting.
Immediately after the Jets granted his release, Belichick decides to sign as a head coach for New England Patriots, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
I also read
defensive coordinator on the Giants, right?
Yes, he's been bouncing around all the New York teams, and
I hate the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants, 2-1. They were 2-0 before losing to Josh Norman and the Redskins. Kirk Cousins liked that one, but I think I
was like that.
More of a concern for both the New York teams is that the Jets have to face off against the Seahawks next week. They're at home. However, the Giants have to go on the road to Minnesota. And the Giants playing against Zimmer has not been a good tenure. It's not been a good history. The last game they played, 49-17.
I watched that. I remember I watched that game. That was Odell was suspended for that, right?
Yeah, but it was...
They got lit up.
Yeah. It was at It was at Minnesota.
Watch for Patriots fan.
Yeah, that was at Minnesota, and Teddy Bridgewater. Oh my God, unreal! Just goes to show you what he could have done if he was healthy.
Why would he put TNT in Teddy Bridgewater's name?
I don't know. It's like we talked about that in the first podcast too. Like, it's not. It was past an ACL injury, wasn't it? It was like, wasn't it like?
It was ACL leg and MCL, I think. It was two things.
Cooked.
Like his knee is no more.
Mm-hmm. But the replacement in Sam Bradford, money.
Quarterback for the Vikings.
Yes. Money.
It's working out.
So the Giants will be on the road in Minnesota, and the Jets will be at home against the Seahawks. Hoping for a win for the Jets. Wouldn't mind seeing the Vikings get a win.
Patriots will be at home against the Buffalo Bills.
Wait, what happened to Fitzmagic over here? You wrote Fitztragic.
Fitztragic, he had 8 turnovers and 6 interceptions.
Oh, 6 interceptions?
And the worst part about the 6 interceptions is that I think 3 of them happened in the span of probably 3 minutes. So, like, the Chiefs would either score or punt, and then Fitzpatrick would come on the field and then just immediately throw an interception.
Oh. Yeah, but speaking of interceptions, that's how Eli lost the Giants game. It was not the Giants' fault. It was all Eli Manning.
Yeah.
Eli Manning is a child.
He made 2 tough interceptions that game. One of them was tipped up to Will Tye to the end zone. It was a tough play, but the defender made the safety. The safety made an unbelievable play. The second play, with under 2 minutes to go, he forced it into his fullback when you have your receiving core of Odell, Victor Cruz, and my fantasy legend and stud, Sterling Shepard. And he decides to throw to his fullback. Fullback.
Bold move.
I can't even tell you who the fullback is. I can't tell you one NFL fullback.
I couldn't even tell you either. Before we wrap this up, one more Giants remark. Their starting running back, Shane Vereen, is out for the year. And watching all these Giants games, I'm going to let all the defensive coordinators know out there who are facing off against the Giants. The Giants are going to run the ball first down.
On first down.
They do it every time. They will run the ball every first down if it is 1st and 35, if it is 1st and -5, if it is 1st and 10. They will be always running the football. Defensive coordinators, you're welcome. I just helped you. However,
you just cracked Ben McAdoo's brain.
I just cracked the McAdoo code. With Vereen out, are we still going to be seeing more first down runs from the Giants?
Boy. They don't even, who's their running back behind Vereen? They don't even have...
I was going to say, is it Andre Williams? But he's gone.
Yeah, and so is Rashid, I think.
My opinion for McAdoo and the offense is they have to start running more wide receiver screens. Cruz...
To Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah. Just, they need to have, like, their receivers do, like, all their dirty work and the rushing yards for them. And the yards after reception. That's how I think Eli can be successful and possibly beat Minnesota and Sam Bradford.
He might be forced into doing that now, and he might be forced to be a not crappy quarterback.
Oh my God. That's just so brutal.
Hot takes coming all around. All right. That will wrap up the second podcast. Steven from UMass, thank you for joining me. And Arthur from the downstairs of my house, thank you for joining me. And I will see you guys shortly. Have a good night.